Hello there, and welcome to Doctor Who Radio Show. That's the way it goes, and this is
Doctorwhokris,
another co-presenter on Doctor Who Radio Show. The previous episode was a preview, theories and ideas with Slug Core. This, however, is a big event, even for Doctor Who long-term fans like myself and Chris. A review of Asylum of the Daleks. Now, if you don't want to know about big spoilers, listen to this after you've seen the episode.
Yeah, listen to it afterwards. Or press mute or something, you know what I mean? So it doesn't spoil your surprise. Because I was actually quite blown away.
Oh yeah, blimey. I mean, you can see where they put the money, can't you, really?
I can see why. I can see why now. That the reason why we had a break in the previous season. How can I explain this? It's just, tell me, probably the listeners will probably agree or disagree with that, whichever. That it gives the writers more time. Before, say, for example, the writers have about 4 months to write it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sort of like it's not rushed.
Yeah.
They've had time to properly iron out any, sort of things that needed tweaking, dialogue. Basically, in a nutshell, they don't have to rush it, so they're able to spend better amount of focus on dialogues, and they can put more money into one episode. Hence, the whole overall quality, I suppose, is better than usual.
Yeah, exactly. I actually agree on that. I actually agree on that. That's not being rhetorical, sorry. Because what I said was about basically that it gives them more time to write more ideas. That, what I've seen in the what's it called, the prison area where they're underground.
Oh yeah, the Asylum.
Where they actually gave history, and I was actually basically, me and my dad were watching this downstairs, and when they mentioned about the war, about the various wars, when it said Vulcan, Spiridon, one criticism I have to make is it's not pronounced Spiridon, it's Spiridon. One thing I noticed, they were mentioning about each wars, about Daleks have been in. I think one was the Vulcan War.
Ah, yes, of course.
It's the second Doctor. Spiridon, the third Doctor. And I think there was one with the Time War. And it was like a nod back. It's like a nod back to the classic series.
Oh, yes, it was a nod, but not like it was in the 80s, where it was being virtually shoved down the throats of casual viewers. Who would have probably thought, who cares? They would have just wanted a good old Doctor Who story. But in this, all the defeats and all the Daleks who survived those defeats of the Doctor. And I love the fact that they mentioned Vulcan, because that was rather interesting. Because Patrick Troughton is Matt Smith's favourite Doctor, so that was rather nice and nod to it. And that's the whole point of the Asylum. It's basically an insane asylum for all the Daleks that have gone wrong, that are impure, and quite possibly, who knows, perhaps developed emotions or conscience. Because to the Daleks, of course, emotions are on a par with what homosexuality used to be. A sin, a so-called, how to put it, makes them less worthy or something like that.
That's right, yeah. I can notice something as well. I don't know if I'm laughing at the BBC do listen to all things like this, and I reckon one thing I did notice. Now, if any of the listeners, if they listen to the Big Finish audio episode, there's a story in Paul McGann's audio era called "Time of the Daleks." There's one. I think there's a character in that. She gets turned into a Dalek.
Ah, yes.
So is the person who wrote Asylum of the Daleks took a little teensy bit out of that story and put it in with the Asylum.
Not the first time though. They used Jubilee, a Sixth Doctor, Big Finish story, didn't they, as the sort of basis of Dalek when it came back.
What's it called? Asylum of the Daleks. I really liked it. And it was just, you know what I mean? There was some bits of the story which I don't care what anybody says. People taking the mick. People say, "Oh, I don't like the new Daleks," which were in Evolution of the Daleks, previous story. I liked them. I'm sorry. I know it sounds bad. I know it sounds wrong. People might, some Doctor Who fans might be thinking, "Oh,
I do agree with you about Evolution. It had its plus points and its minuses, but I do think that with this story, the Daleks regained their power, so to speak, pun intended. And in terms of how they were presented, they just felt like Daleks. There wasn't anything over the top, like in the Victory of the Daleks, Daleks on steroids. And they seem to generally be, they seem to remind you of past Daleks, in the good old days of the series, I suppose, the classic series. Plus that one that sounded strangely like Davros. So Daleks are hypocrites, really. Because that Dalek, that was like, I suppose the leader of them all, really, the thinker, I suppose. Like the one that went mad in
Khan.
Khan in Stolen Earth. That one sounded like it understood and was allowed to use its emotions. So when it suits the Daleks, emotions are utilised. But apparently when it comes to their foot soldiers, they don't appreciate it. They consider it to be a defect, quite literally. So what did you think about the overall script writing from start to finish of the story?
It was very fast paced. Unlike previous seasons, it was like, unlike previous seasons, we had, I've got to say this, and I know me and my dad were watching it, I struggled to keep, I had to watch it about twice previous seasons, you know what I mean? To get back in, you know what I mean, to work it out. This one, I've worked it out easy. This episode, it could easily be worked out.
It's just a vast improvement. Just seems to go back to Dalek, in the sense that it's more grounded. There's less over the top type stuff, and we had a resolution to what had happened at the end of Pond Life Part 5. The Ponds basically having a marriage breakdown. Well, not just a marriage breakdown, it has broken down.
Exactly, so I was quite shocked at that. I thought, ooh, the neck. But it was nice to see, spoiler alert, it was nice to see the new companion, the cameo of the new companion. I reckon they're going to write something into the script of the story that she's going to come back somehow, or whichever way. As I say, time is relative.
Well, to be terribly honest, I don't know about you, Chris, but I was rather surprised to see the new companion in the Asylum of the Daleks, because we'd been led to believe that she makes her first appearance in the Christmas special, which has already been filmed or is about to post-production. So seeing her was, oh dear, perhaps they've used that whole thing and the actual in hindsight, the appearance of past Daleks, every single era of Daleks in one story, and the Christmas special being the debut, he said, nudge nudge wink wink. That was really a bit of a rather clever diversion by Stephen Moffat. And the problem is, there's a bit of a mystery, as you've already pointed out. Because, as you know, the Ponds are leaving, so that's the end of one story arc. Yeah. So presumably this is heralding the beginning of a new timey-wimey thing. And this is the start of another story arc with the new companion, Oswin, which is a curious name for a girl. But I think there were many hidden surprises, really. What did you think of the character Oswin?
I thought it was quite a really surreal one. It was a very strange introduction of this character. She looked like more than a normal character. Just the way she acted was like more than a normal character.
Yeah.
If you get my meaning. It was the it was like the way she acted, the way mannerisms. It was like, I mean, I've known you somewhere before.
Ah, yes. Which is another thing I want to mention. This is Stephen Moffat, as we all know. We've had the whole, yet to finish actually, River Song and Amy Pond, timey-wimey mystery. And this is a new one he's set up, another puzzle for fans to pore over, because that's been the trademark really of his era. Russell T Davies, during his era, it was all about reintroducing the mythology of the series. In this case, it's the timey-wimey thing that he first included in Blink. And really, I just feel she's more like Melanie Bush, in the sense that when the Doctor first encounters her, well, knows about her at least, it's in his trial in Trial of the Time Lord, and he meets her before, well, she's met him, if you see what I mean.
It's a bit of a paradox, yeah. I'd tell you something, one thing that I think that Stephen Moffat should do. Fans, please let me know if you agree with. Not let me know if you agree with this or don't agree. I think they should rest with a song thing. Like progression. Let's open another thing. You know what I mean?
Are you saying it's sort of overstayed its welcome or become tiresome, or?
I think. I say tiresome. That's the wrong word. But, you know what I mean? There's only so much you can go up to with the River Song thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Alice Kingston, even.
Oh, blimey, I saw a picture of her in Doctor Who magazine that came yesterday, which is available, everyone, the new issue of Doctor Who, available with 3 covers, Daleks, Dinos on a spaceship, and also the Wild West one, and in the section where it tells you about what Doctor Who past and present cast are doing, there's a lovely picture with her cleavage. Anyway, go on, Chris.
Yeah, I just think the story is like not that story, but the actual whole River Song thing. They ought to knock it on the head, saying using a quote from Colin Baker.
Yeah, good.
Tie a few loose ends, leave a few ponderables like hanging.
That's a bit curious, really, because they've introduced the genesis, if you like, of Melody Pond, and in Let's Kill Hitler, you saw the previous incarnation of River Song regenerate rather too briefly and too quickly into regenerating into Alice Kingston's one. And I just felt at the time that they could have made the whole mystery stretch throughout the entirety of Matt Smith's time. You could have had her as a companion, the black one, I forget the actress's name. And that's the thing, she's been with the Ponds all along before they got together. So it's a fantastic concept of a timey-wimey, regenerate companion, because it's all back to front. As I've mentioned before, each time the Doctor meets with a song, it's for her, it's going back in her timeline. For him, of course, it's going forward. So fascinating, I'll tell you this and the thing. H.G. Wells has been scratching his head. Never mind the audience.
Yeah, it is good. It is a good episode. I like it. For the first episode of the new season, I am impressed. If this is what it's going to be like, fast paced, open, wow factor, with a map of wow, then I will be watching the whole season.
Interesting. And there were some very clever sort of sudden twists. The one I loved was they meet that black bloke, and he goes down with them into his cabin crew, and out of the blue it turns out he's a little bit less than mentally coherent. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant conceit. It, like you said earlier, they've had more chance to focus on. So, and you could feel it. It was more well thought out, and maybe I just get the feeling that Stephen Moffat probably really was very relieved that he didn't have so much work as before, because he's doing, and so is Mark Gatiss. You say Gatiss, I say Gatiss. I can't pronounce his name. They're doing Sherlock, and he was sort of criticised of perhaps putting too much on his TARDIS console plate, if you like. Huh. Minuses you would give this episode?
Minuses, yes. You know, they're supposed to use every single Dalek in history.
I thought you'd say this one, yeah.
I could, with some of the studio line, you could see them, but some you couldn't. With the studio, with the writing.
Yeah. You didn't really see much involvement of, 60s, 70s, or 80s Dalek. I briefly saw the special weapons Dalek, literally in the background, in just for a few seconds.
Which is bad though, if they are coming and celebrating the classic series, I think really they should have used the what's it called? They should have used the
special weapon Dalek.
The special weapon Dalek. I never had a voice. Does everybody remember that? I don't remember having a voice.
Remembrance of the Daleks, 1988, which oddly enough is precisely about 24 years ago. This year is actually the 25th anniversary of Sylvester McCoy's becoming the Doctor back in 1987.
It's true.
But that did not speak, but it would have been well, it's just like an armoured tank.
It was, yeah.
But it was awesome.
Kicked ass at the special weapons Dalek. All I know is the special weapons Dalek kicked some ass. Tell you what makes me laugh though, that special weapons Dalek, it kicked. It's like basically trampled on the other Daleks.
Yeah.
Power.
Well, it's used in Dalek battle tactics as either reinforcement for the weapons or an equaliser. So if one side of the Daleks, like in Remembrance or Resurrection, is in serious danger, they just send the special weapons Dalek in there and it obliterates several in one go.
Well, I'll tell you something though, the only thing that would have made me laugh though, if they had Davros in it.
Well, they did really, because like I said, I don't even know what the thing's called, but that little blob one, just like in Dalek, or
it was a Dalek Council.
A can type thing. He sounded virtually like Davros. I think he was basically an extension of Davros and also a homage to Davros. But I did enjoy Davros's last appearance. Journey's End. That was more like the Davros comedy, our guest star in that meddlesome, irritating, cheeky little Time Lord.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I found disappointing was that when they chose to play a part of Davros, why didn't they use Terry Malloy instead of Julian Bleach?
Well, I don't know. It's a bit because he's still playing Davros. He's done it quite a few times in Big Finish, hasn't he? What would you give this episode out of 10?
I don't want to be too pretentious. I would literally give this. I'd give this episode an honest 8.5. No, let's be serious. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, cool. A brilliant season opener and a perfect demonstration of the improved compact budget, basically.
Yeah.
So the fears and outrage when it turned out we wouldn't get a full season, in hindsight, actually have been a blessing in terms of visuals.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't matter how increased the budget is. The story and the cast has to match it. And I think with the first story it did. For myself, I'm not going to give it 11 out of 10 on a scale the scale of 11 like the Doctor says, but I'm going to give it let's think, something reasonable but also fair. I think about 8.5, and the reason why, like we said, not so much appearance of the classic Daleks as we thought, but I think a story, absolute shocking conclusion to Oswin's story.
Yeah.
Not the last time we'll see her, but I'm not going to reveal it because that's one hell of a twist, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one hell of a twist, and obviously, we don't want to spoil it for the listeners in obviously America and wherever who have not seen it.
Oh yeah, but I think if you knew about that twist before seeing it anywhere, it would really ruin the surprise. But it does open more questions than answers. This is the new companion Oswin, and she's very good, but apparently from the indication this isn't necessarily the first time she's encountered the Doctor. And with that bombshell, in the words of Alan Partridge, and that's the way it goes, signing off. And
Doctorwhokris.
So until next time, a different presenter. Who knows? That's the great thing about this show. Enjoy Doctor Who, and don't forget to subscribe to the radio show 7 and also Doctorwhokris. And thank you for joining me, and don't forget to click like. Next time it will be dinosaurs on a spaceship.